Thank you for the nice introduction, and good morning, everyone. It is my great pleasure to be here again, sharing some case study experience with all of you, both in person or online. So the story we want to share today, together with my dear colleague, Dr. Fan Wu, is the totality of evidence, including a PBPK modeling to support the BE assessment and the approval of Mesalamine DR tablets. So hopefully through today's presentation from both of us, we can deliver the following messages. Number one, we want to present this case study of an ANDA for Mesalamine DR tablets with some dissolution issue in some certain dissolution media. And also we try to share with you and help you understand OGD's BE evaluation based on the totality of evidence for this case study. And then Thang will share some detail about the PBPK modeling and how we are using it as a critical evidence to support the final approval of this ANDA. So here's my disclaimer. This presentation reflects the views of the presenter only and should not be construed or represent FDA's view or policies. So first of all, let me just give a very quick introduction or a background refresh about the RLD product and what are the studies recommended by the PSG. So the RLD product is Takeda's Lealda DR tablets, 1.2 gram. It was approved in 2007 under the NDA number 22000. This product is indicated to treat colitis in both adults and pediatric patients. And here's the PSG. I just took a quick screenshot of the study recommended by the PSG, which is published in June 2016. There are 3 pivotal studies recommended for developing a generic version of this drug. An in vivo BE study under fasting and under fat conditions respectively. And the third study is an in vitro dissolution study. And I do want to highlight one thing is the design of the in vitro dissolution study is it actually includes 3 stages. The stage 1 and the stage 2 are called a pretreatment or prepared stages. And the evaluation stages are recommending using 4 different medias at pH 6.5, 6.8, 7.2, and 7.5 respectively. And in a later slide, I'm going to discuss why this is designed as such and what is the physiological reason. And now let's just dive into, because due to the time, we just dive directly into the case study. So in this ANDA, based on the data submitted, the reviewers found that the PK and statistical results for both the pivotal in vivo studies met the BE acceptance criteria. I do want to say one more thing about the in vivo study recommendation is not only the Cmax and AUC overall were evaluated. The PSG also recommend to evaluate the comparison between the test and the reference drug for the AUC 8 to 48 hour, which is the partial AUC kind of representing the drug absorption in colon, where is the site of action. So that also brings up the question about the mechanism of this drug or the site of action. So this drug, Mesalamine DR tablets, is actually a local acting drug. Is used to treat ulceritis in the colon. However, the function is not done through like the plasma concentration. Is actually dependent on the local concentration of mesalamine delivered into the colon directly. So in this case study, the test formulation, it's going so fast, but anyways. The test formulation adopts similar mechanism of drug release. It's actually using the same pH-dependent release controlling excipient as the RLD. However, the dissolution profile, not all of them, but some of that actually are very, very different between the test and the reference product. I don't know, it's keep flashing. But we can see actually over here, I don't know. So, but this is just a quick review. The left 2 figures, the profiles are actually the comparison for the lower pH value, 6.5 and 6.8. And the last one, which is very comparable, is for the 7.2 and 7.5. And in this table, we can also see the calculation for F2, or the dissolution similarity. We can clearly see that the dissolution are not that similar in the low pH conditions. And we're wondering why, and how big of an impact it actually caused in our evaluation for bioequivalence. So let's just go through why this actually is, the drug itself is, why is keep going? I didn't touch anything, but anyway. Okay, so this is the mechanism for this coating, because if the drug is not coated due to the quick dissolution and quick absorption of mesalamine, the majority of mesalamine will be absorbed before it actually reach the site of action, which is a column. And on the right side, we can actually, I'm bringing the GI tract into 3 sections in terms of the fate of this drug. In the stomach and the duodenum, where the pH is relatively low, the coating will protect the mesalamine from early release. And in the middle section, which is the small intestine, the outer coating will be eroded and start to release the drug slowly, and it will still deliver most of the mesalamine APIs into the column to do its function. So in this slide actually is showing, the coating for this product. It's showing the function. It's actually telling the same story. Let's go back here. So it's the same thing. So the pH dependent or pH protection of the outer coating will make sure the drug stay intact in the stomach, and it will start to erode, as you can see on the left side. It starts to erode in the duodenum, and mostly were eroded and start to release the drug in small intestine. And per the RLD label, it also says the coating of the pH dependent polymer film, which breaks down at or above pH 6.8, normally in the terminal ileum or terminal small intestine, and start to release the mesalamine. And how does it serve the function to make sure the drug mesalamine is actually released slowly throughout the whole large intestine or whole column? It's actually based on another mechanism. But before that, here is another piece of evidence from the radioactive study showing where the drugs are actually released. As we can see in these figures, in the first figure is the T3, 3 hour, which is 3 hours after administration. We can see at the distal small intestine, we can already start to see some fuzziness around the tablet, which means the mesalamine, the mesalamine was labeled, the mesalamine drug started to release from the tablet, which means the outer coating is pretty much eroded and does not do keep the tablet intact anymore. And as the drug goes into the small intestine, the large intestine, we can see the drug already start to go everywhere and start to do its function. And that's exactly what we are actually concerning about, is whether it is similar between the in vitro dissolution phases and the physiological conditions, whether it is representative. As we can see in the green bars, and we can see the drug actually go through the physiological conditions. It will be eroded, the outer coating, the red outer coating will be eroded after it exits the small intestine. And when it goes into the distal column or into the column, the outer coating is pretty much gone. However, that is a little bit inconsistent with what we actually designed the in vitro study. Again, the in vitro study design at different pH levels is try to represent all the conditions that we may appear or the drug may experience in the GI tract as it delivers. And the difference here is for example, for the pH 6.8 condition, which is used as the evaluation stage, the drug actually didn't have a chance to be exposed to a higher pH value condition, just like in the small intestine in vivo. So our question is whether this is actually making a significant physiological impact. So the question is to correlate the physiological and PK and dissolution study as one big piece of evidence. What kind of tool can we use? And Fan will be discussing about that. But now I just want to give a very quick summary of what we have observed before we actually having the PK modeling kicking in. So what we have observed is the in vitro dissolution issue for pH lower than 6.9 conditions, and we are starting to see different dissolution profile between the test and the RLD product. And the in vivo drug dissolution released through the GI tract may vary, also vary due to the physiological conditions in different patients or healthy volunteers. And we actually recommend the applicant to conduct the in vivo, the PK/PD modeling, IB/IBC correlation, and to use that as a supportive evidence to justify the lower pH value incomparable dissolution result. And that's where I'm going to stop and turn that into found. But before I do that, here is a quick question, is based on the data we have collected, either directly through the RLD labeling or through other literatures and evidence, is that true that the RLD product, the Leota DR tablet, will stay intact and prevent the drug release until it actually goes into column? Apparently, the answer is false. So this is not the case, especially due to the radioactive study. The drug already starts to release in small intestine. And here is, I just want to steal like a couple seconds from found. So here's my acknowledgement. I first want to thank Dr. Partha Roy, the OB director, who is very supportive about, this is a very interesting case, and he's, the leader for the office level discussion. I also want to thank DBIII management, April, Key, and Li Gong, who actually having a lot of great discussion with the assessment team and make final decisions. And OB management also provide very helpful insights and questions and comments through the whole story that I'm sharing today. Last but not least, we have the great supporting team from the DQMM, and I will let Found to introduce more about the PK/PD modeling part. Thank you very much.